Yep. So, hi everyone, good evening. Hope you are doing extremely well. And as you all know, today we have event of Future with Crypto and newsletters. And for this event, we have Mr. Akash with us. He is a co-founder of Doodhwala, which delivers Taza 2-minute crypto news straight to your inbox. Welcome, Akash. Welcome to Squad Growth. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me, Shaurya.
Thank you for accepting our invite. And people, if you have any question, just put it in the message section. And yes, and hope you will enjoy the event and you will get something new from this event. Uh, yes, Akash, we can like proceed the event.
Sure. Awesome. I cannot see the messages immediately, so if there are any messages, just let me know. Just
Yes.
stop me whenever,
Okay.
and we can proceed there. So the focus of this you want it to be on newsletters, or we can do a little bit of both.
Like we can do a little bit of both.
Okay, got it. Cool. So I will share my screen, and I'll give you a little bit of background before I share my screen, so that this presentation isn't misleading in any way. Um, One of the talks that I gave recently was on emerging trends within crypto to a fairly
Sorry,
older audience. Sorry.
sorry to interrupt you. Actually, some background noise is coming now from your side.
Okay, okay. I'm slightly outside, so I'll just hold the receiver a little closer to my mouth. I think that will at least concentrate my voice as opposed to
Yeah,
the background. But
now it
if
is.
there's okay, perfect. So this is gonna like it'll happen in waves, like coming and going, right? So whenever it's a lot, just let me know. I'll repeat what I'm saying. Yeah,
Okay.
no problem about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the focuses of this session that did happen, which is the premise for this one as well, is emerging trends within crypto, right? And in order to understand those emerging trends, it's usually easier to start with what are the normal trends in crypto, and then we can look at what are the emerging trends within crypto, right? And at the end, we can look at newsletters as one form of content creation to distribute those trends, whatever trends you have, anyone in the audience has. um, why did we start with newsletters? Just to give, or what newsletters are. um, One second. Yeah, what newsletters are, it's the simple definition is it's an email sent directly to someone on a frequent basis. It can be a weekly, monthly, or daily basis, right? The most frequent is daily, so one article every day, or you can have once every week, once every month, etc. The good thing with emails, and I'm glad you're focusing on newsletters, is a lot of companies are focusing on newsletters specifically for one reason. um, if you have someone's email, you can directly plug it into any marketing service that you want, right? That is different from if you have a Twitter follower or a YouTube subscriber or a Facebook friend. Because if you have a Facebook friend, Shaurya, you and I are Facebook friends, we are not necessarily Twitter followers, right? And I can't take you as a Facebook friend and make you a Twitter subscriber or Twitter follower or a YouTube subscriber. With an email, I can do that. As long as I have your consent, your approval, I can make you um, a a, a member of my newsletter, a member of my marketing service, a member of anything. So newsletter is a very useful tool. So it's very good in that way. It's very bad in a way where you can't edit your content, because once I send you an email, I can't take it back. Right? If I send you an email with a mistake, I can't change that mistake. So there's a pro and a con of it, and it's an incredibly useful tool. So I'm glad you're focusing on this, and anyone who's a creator in this platform, in this audience, focus on newsletters. It's easy to start, hard to maintain, but if you do it well, it works. So we've been doing Doodhwala for about 3 or 4 months now, and we have over 100,000 word articles, or 1,000 word emails that are already sent 6 days a week, and I'll take you through that as well. So let's just look at crypto's emerging trends, and let me share my screen before that. Yeah, so let me know when my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible. We can see it.
Yeah. So again, we're looking at emerging trends within crypto. And just let's just start with why is it an emerging topic, right? Just on the basis of numbers, current market cap for all cryptocurrencies, top to bottom, is $850 billion. A year ago at this time, December 9, 2021, it was over $2 trillion roughly, right? And that comprises of several coins, several cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they roughly hold 60% of this 850 billion. but other coins are also there within that, right? The second is crypto as a legal tender in 2 countries. By crypto here, I mean Bitcoin, which is the largest, 40% of market share. 2 countries that have deemed it legal tender, meaning you can go to a coffee shop or a cigarette shop and buy anything you want with Bitcoin, is El Salvador in Central America, and Central African Republic in Africa. And crypto, again, specifically Bitcoin, on public companies' balance sheets, right? Public companies meaning companies that are publicly traded. 2 companies specifically come to mind. One is Tesla, the electric vehicle manufacturer. The other is Square, which I think is renamed to Block, and it's a parent company for Twitter and Cash App. That holds Bitcoin on its balance sheet. And we can discuss why a company like that can hold it on their balance sheet, or why maybe an Indian company could, as a possibility, hold it on their balance sheet, right? The fourth point is a lot of big banks, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, are building on top of public blockchains. And public blockchains, we will get into what public blockchains are in as we go on through this session. And the specific public blockchain that they're building on is a blockchain called Ethereum, which has a cryptocurrency called ETH or ETH, which is currently the second largest in the market as of today. 20%, roughly 20% of that 850 billion, right? And why is it important for India? I think most of the people here are of course Indians. Why is it important for India? And as a point of context, this seems incredibly important as to why we're talking about it today. Because a week from today, a week ago, was in India, was one of India's largest crypto conferences ever, right? There was an event called ETH India, which is Ethereum India, which is by the foundation that has the second largest crypto and the second largest blockchain. And they had a 3-day event. It was a hackathon. Lots of people came down to Bangalore. There were multiple events by multiple blockchains and multiple companies that showed that a lot of people are building on this blockchain, building on top of it. And given that it's a public blockchain, anyone can build on top of the blockchain, learn the publicly open source code, and build on top of it. And our job as content creators is to just tell people about it, educate people about it. And as is the case for people like you. There's also a huge amount of VC investments pouring into India as well as global crypto in the world. Like, I'll give you a couple of stats, right? So in 2021, last year, in 12 months of 2021, there was about $21.3 billion of VC investments. Now, 1 billion is about 8,000 crores. So just multiply that and you'll get the rupee equivalent. Till the 1st of October 2022, there was $20 billion, so 1 billion short, right? Even though the market has gone down, investments have roughly stayed the same. In fact, if the year ends in good stead, we'll probably have more than the amount that was there last year. So the investment is still coming into India, right? Or into the sector as well as into India. There's also a huge impetus on the creator economy in India, which is where people like who are creating videos, who are creating newsletters, who are creating any kinds of content, right? It's incredibly useful for people to be a creator in India, as long as you have some kind of value to give. Like, if you're just writing content and not giving any value, then you're probably not going to get a large following here. But if you're giving value, regardless of the field, it's incredibly useful. Now, where does the value lie, right? For, I think, between 2017 to 2020, the value lied in giving trading related information, right? Price related information. But that has slowly moved on from trading to building relating information, right? Which is information less on the prices, more on the actual activity going on these blockchains regarding these cryptos. And that is going on really well. So just to sum up, there's a lot of hiring going on in India, lots of investments pouring into India. That opens the door for people to become creators on about these topics. And the topic of this creation is less on trading, more on building, right? And I think this is a fairly known topic for many people, so I won't spend much time on it, which is, what is crypto? What is cryptocurrency, right? So just split it up. Crypto is cryptography and currency is money. Now, the term cryptocurrency seems like a very, I would say, misleading term, right? Because not all of them are currencies. Some of them are assets. That is why if you read any big publication in India, whether it's newsletters or any media platform, right? Like Economic Times, Business Today, Business Times, International Business Times, etc. They tend not to use the word cryptocurrency. Instead, they use the word crypto assets or digital asset because they think it's more of an asset than it is a currency, right? And we'll get to why it is that. So, in order to be a currency or an asset, it needs to be money, right? Some currency is essentially money, right? And money in its core forms, and like we all know this from like school and college, is money in any form can be one of three things, right? It can be either a unit of account, meaning a chai costs 10 rupees, and Maruti Suzuki Alto will cost, I don't know, 4-5 lakhs rupees, or it can be a store of value, meaning I put some amount of money into it and it either retains value or grows in time. So 6% FD that your father keeps telling you about, right? So store of value, it increases over time. And rupees inherently don't increase over time, they just stay the same, right? The third is medium of exchange. So I have rupees and I can go exchange it for any goods, whether it's coffee or atta or anything else, right? So currency can is or any asset is two of these three, cannot be three of three, right? So rupees, for example, can be a unit of account or a medium of exchange. It can't be a store of value. Nobody saves in rupees. They save in stock, or they save in debt, or they save in crypto, or they save in real estate, right? Real estate, for example, is specifically a store of value. It's not a unit of account. You don't look at like a bill and say that that is worth one property, right? And a medium of exchange, like for example, a crypto can be a unit of account. It can be a store of value. It's a really bad medium of exchange. Bitcoin is a really bad medium of exchange because it's so volatile that you can't use it to exchange stuff, even though that was the inherent need of it. But you can't really use it to buy. I mean, imagine if you go to uh, a shop and buy a car last year for 50,000 Bitcoin. Now it's worth 16,000 Bitcoin. So the car remains the same, but the what you paid for the car has gone down by roughly like 70%, right? And that's not a good thing. So it can only have two things, right? Now, if you focus on the specifics, cryptocurrency is a part of a crypto economy, like a larger crypto economy. Currency is just one part of the economy. Assets are another part of the economy. Savings are another part of the economy. So it all fits into this economy. And this is important for you to create any kind of content, right? You need to focus, if it's newsletters, videos, podcasts, anything, you need to focus on the core tenets of it, right? Cryptocurrency is a part of the crypto economy. There's also the crypto internet, which other blockchains like Ethereum, Solana, and all allow you to do. Meaning you can come and build on top of it. You can't necessarily build a lot on top of Bitcoin, although there are certain applications doing that. But Bitcoin was ideally created to be like a currency. You trade it from one to the other. But Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Polygon, which was made by Indian founders, was meant to be an internet that you can create a Facebook, a Twitter, a YouTube, a Paytm, anything you'd want on that. Right? So it's useful to differentiate between economy, currency, asset, and anything that you build on this economy. Right? So long story short, what are the types of cryptos, right? Again, there are several types of cryptos. Everybody differentiates it in different ways. The way I see it is you can differentiate in four ways, right? One is payment cryptos, meaning they're built on a blockchain, and that's the only blockchain that supports it. So Bitcoin is built on the Bitcoin blockchain. There's another currency called Litecoin, which is built on the Litecoin blockchain. It does not support anything else whatsoever, right? Like you can't build any other currency on top of Bitcoin. Similarly, Litecoin. But if you want to build on top of the Ethereum blockchain, there are several cryptos on top of it, right? Several, I think thousands or more than that on the Ethereum blockchain. Because it's a blockchain that allows you to create other things on it, right? And those other things are called protocols or decentralized applications. Now, those can be finance related applications, art related applications, social related applications, metaverse, gaming related applications. Those can be called either applications or protocols, each of which have their own currency for governance, for payments, for fees, for various other things. Right? So you have payment cryptos, which are created on top of their own blockchain cryptos, which are the base layer on which other protocols are built, and protocols that are just smaller applications that are built on these blockchains. And lastly, it's worth differentiating this, although these are also built on top of blockchains, is something called stable coins. Right? Stable coins are where the medium of exchange comes in, meaning I can go and pay for something with it because it's stable, right? I can exchange it one is to one. It does not change. So if a car that I bought for $50,000 last year, it remains the same because it's stable. It's $1 is to $1, right? And there are various currencies there are various stable coins that perform this function, right? And if you look at the top 6 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization, which is that 850 billion that we spoke about earlier, 3 of those 6 are stable coins. There's USDT, USDC, and this currency called, or the stable coin called Binance USD. 3 of these 5 or 3 of these 6, I'm not sure, but they're definitely in the top 10, right? So this is an easy way to differentiate that. You can break it down further and see other coins as well, but this is just a general overview, right? And the 2 main ones are Bitcoin and Ethereum. As we mentioned earlier, Bitcoin is a currency. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency, very specifically. And a simple analogy to understand Ethereum is if Bitcoin is a decentralized currency, Ethereum is like a decentralized internet. Because on the internet, you can build, like I said earlier, a Facebook, a YouTube, a Paytm, any application on top of it, right? With Bitcoin, you can just do payments and it works very, very well for that use case. Beyond that, there are other applications that work slightly better. So if you want to perform any financial function like lending, borrowing, savings, investments, insurance, anything of that sort, Bitcoin is probably not the best place to do that, but there are other places to do that as well. Although there are certain applications building on top of it, because it has created a foundation, it's such a strong foundation for the rest of the cryptocurrency ecosystem, right? Now, this is a just to conclude the Ethereum bit. There's a topic that's floating around that everybody wants to talk to, which I'll spend a slide as well. Is Web3, right? Web3 is, a lot of these companies are coming out and saying that we are the Web3 of the we are India's Web3 movement, or this is India's Web3 movement, or some stuff like that, right? And if you write about it, if it's in newsletters or content or any form, this is a word that you'll have to spend some time explaining to your audience, right? And how to explain it, I think this meme that we found, I don't know where, but certainly floating around everywhere, is a good explanation of what this is. But just before this, I'll pause for a minute and I'll ask if there's any questions. Shaurya, if you can help me out here.
Yes, there are like 3 to 4 questions, but I think we can like take them in the end of the session. It will not break the flow.
Perfect. That's right. You can set the schedule of this, right? So we'll take that at the end. So is Web3 a Spider-Man movie? It's not. It's just the evolution of the internet. And I wasn't around for, say, MySpace when that happened, so I don't know what MySpace is, but I'm guessing it's like a earlier version of Facebook, right? But to be fair, Web1 was a simple web page where people could go and create their information, and you could not interact with it. And you could not like, share, retweet, comment, upload, download, anything of that sort, right? You could just go and see the content. Anyone could go and post content. The content is owned on your web page. Can be like shaurya.com or akash.com or something like that. But it's not interactable. It's not flexible. It's not dynamic, right? It's just simple, static. Web 2 is when dynamic sort of web pages came in, where Facebook said that, hey, we can create a community of people, of students or people close to you. You can like, share, subscribe. You can add photos. You can add videos. You can log in and log out, right? And you can do a bunch of things. But the problem is they gate everything. So you can log in and log out, and that's all you can do, right? And they own the login and the log out. So right now, any app that you use has a Google login or a Gmail login or a Facebook login or a Yahoo login, although that has died down. But there are several logins, right? And that username that you have is owned by the platform that supports it. So Facebook or Gmail or any other, or Apple, right? And if they decide to ban you for any reason, if they stop you for any reason, or if they suspect you for doing anything illegal for any reason, they can take away your login. And if they take away your login, you don't have control over your own identity, right? And the worst thing is that, and this is why newsletters are incredibly important, like I spoke about earlier, is the data that you have on Facebook and Instagram is non-transferable. You can't take the 1 million followers that you have on Instagram onto Twitter, onto YouTube, right? With newsletters, you can. because you own an email, and an email is easily transferable. And as long as you have consent of the subscriber, you can immediately take it from one place to the other, to the other, to the other. Right? And that is incredibly useful. So and that is why newsletters have such a higher premium and it's hard to grow. It's easy to start, hard to grow, and it's really really difficult to survive, because right now everybody's starting a newsletter. You have to figure out what is the differentiation point there, which again we'll come to in the end, right? And that is the basis for Web3. Web3 basically says that, hey, you own the data. You have a wallet that you can use to access everything. That wallet is owned by you, it's accessible by you, the data is controlled by you, and you can use it on several apps that you have, right? You can use it on app A, B, C, D, the same thing. You can't use the same Gmail login on, say, several applications. And even if you do, they own it, right? In this sort of case, the wallets don't are owned by you, and that's the basis for all of Web3, right? All of Web3 is based on wallet accessibility, because the wallet does three things that that no equivalent in Web2 does. So one is storage, second is access, the third is memory, right? Storage is keep everything with you. Nobody else keeps this. You keep it, you access it. And the most important thing is you remember it, right? So think about any time you've forgotten your password for, say, Facebook or Gmail or any website, right? The direct sort of action that you take is you click forgot password. When you click forgot password, they'll probably ask you some random prompt saying, what was your dog's name in childhood? Or what was your best friend's name in childhood, right? That's only something you remember. So you'll say something like Bunty or Tommy or something like that, right? And that's something that you remember very specifically, because it's sitting in your head, in your memory. And that is the strongest password you have, because nobody else knows what your best friend's dog's name was in third standard, right? Only I know that, and only you know that. So the point is that the last forgot password is your memory. It is not your email or your friend's email or your mobile phone number. It's your memory. And wallets give you a password that are a 12 or 14 word list, right? So it's random words like, say, phone, bottle, chair, counter, random words, right? Random English words. And you have to remember it. You either have to write it down or you have to remember it in memory. And that access all your funds. And nobody has access to those random words apart from you. It is generated, and that is called your private key, right? You have a public address and you have a private key. And you can sort of access that whenever you want to access these wallets, to access your storage as well as have access to your stuff, right? And because of that, there are two kinds of sort of wallets that are there. One is, of course, the hot and cold wallet. Hot and cold basically means hot is connected to the internet, cold is not connected to the internet. And if something is connected to the internet, it's prone to any hacks or malware or vulnerabilities of any kind. Cold wallets are not. So cold wallets are relatively safer. Then there's hardware and software wallets. Hardware is anything physical that you can sort of hold, like a pen drive. And software wallets are wallets that are inbuilt into the computer or into the laptop, right? So this is probably the most important part of Web3, which is the wallets, which is the accessibility, and your forgot password button, which is just sits in your head, right? So if you had to have a basis of understanding this is wallets are probably it. Now these are the current trends, right? So what are the key sort of factors for what are the key applications that are building on top of these blockchains? These applications are called decentralized applications, right? So decentralized applications, dApps, right? Simple way. But what is it good for? Everything. Basically, every kind of application that you have, any kind of billion-dollar company is either an app or something that allows you to use an app. Like, for example, look at the most valuable company in the world right now, Apple. It allows you to use several apps. The second most valuable company in the world, Microsoft, which allows you to use apps again on your laptop, right? Operating system, laptop, etc. One of the other most important, largest companies in the world, Facebook, it's an app, and it has two other apps, Instagram and WhatsApp. One of the biggest companies in India, Paytm, app. Another big company, Twitter, app. Another big company, YouTube, app. Everything that is large, is scalable, it's an app, right? If it's in the if it's in the sort of internet economy, it's an app, or it facilitates the use of an app. And in crypto, there are several kinds of apps. These are the kinds that come to mind when I made the presentation. One is apps that allow you to look at art, right? So these are where NFTs come in. The other is apps that allows you to partake in society, which are where metaverse apps comes in. Then there are apps that allows you to manage your finances, which is where decentralized finance apps come in. Then gaming, spend some time, have some fun, right? But gaming apps comes in. Companies, apps that allow you to create companies, right? So these are where something called decentralized autonomous organizations come in. And then there are the environment, which is just combination of all of these things, which is where blockchains come in, that allows you to build these apps. Yeah. So out of all of these, I think the main one, or the one that is drawing in the most amount of interest, or has drawn in the most amount of interest since, I don't know, 2019, 2020, is decentralized finance applications, right? So finance that you generally know is centralized finance, meaning a bank is controls your funds, gives your funds. There are two things a bank does, right? It takes money and it gives money. So it takes money from people as lending. So if I go and put fixed deposit of 8%, that is a lending. That is the amount that I've lent to the bank. And on the other end, there's someone who's going and taking a car loan or a house loan or a home loan or something like that, and that is borrowing. So there are two kinds of things that a bank does, both of which is possible in decentralized finance, where you go and deposit something, earn a rate of interest, and go and withdraw something, take out a loan and pay a rate of interest, right? And this is all done without a middleman, without a custodian, without anybody in the middle handling all of this money, handling like paperwork. And you go to a bank and at 1 o'clock and they're like, "Ek ghante baad aa jao, hum lunch kar rahe hain," or something like that. That's not there here, right? That's how it's different from centralized finance. And all applications that you think a bank has, or financial functions that a bank performs, is all replicated here. So lending and borrowing, exchanging, where you go and exchange a dollar for a rupee or a rupee for a dollar, derivatives, where you go and hedge your risk by buying futures or options, yield generation, where you go and you buy a debt instrument and earn a 6% rate of interest or something like that. All of these problems, all of these functions are there in decentralized finance. It's small. There are a lot of problems within it, of course, but it's growing, and it's a system that is certainly an emerging trend, right? And this is where the problem of, say, where the news came in of FTX, right? FTX was a centralized finance exchange, or a centralized exchange. They took people's funds. People didn't hold those funds individually, and they basically gave it from one party to the other, and that other party traded it incorrectly, and they lost a lot of money, right? And that's the sort of problem that does not arise with decentralized finance, right? And that is the exact difference between, say, a decentralized exchange and a centralized exchange. So any exchange that you might have heard of, the popular ones are all centralized. So exchange like Binance or Coinbase or WazirX in India, CoinDCX in India, CoinSwitch Kuber in India, they're all centralized exchanges. Decentralized exchanges are far more unknown, not very well known, but they solve that problem that FTX had, right? So there are exchanges like Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap. Funny names, I know, but it still solves that problem, right? That's why you should ideally use a DEX, so that the problem of FTX is not there, right? Then another application is art, which is in the form of NFTs, right? Um, and um, and that's a simple ownership problem that art has not solved. And I'll give you a simple analogy for this, right? And Shaurya, I need your help on this, right?
Yeah.
So if you how many of you have had this situation where your college professor told you that I need you to buy this specific textbook, but that textbook was not available, like in your local store or stationery shop in college?
So like people, 1 second. Yep. So people, I hope you all get the question. Please reply in the message section or in the squad chat section.
Just say yes, no, or just say yes or no. That's it.
So, like many are saying no, like they don't study from the textbook anymore. They study from PDFs.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's much more easier to have the notes online, right? Or have some other resources online. But the problem is that if the professor tells you, hey, I need you to learn from this textbook, and that textbook is usually photocopied by one person in class and sold to everybody, or someone has scanned the copy, have a soft copy, and they're distributing it in the WhatsApp group, right? So there's probably the second reason here, right? But anytime it is duplicated, either physically or digitally, what happens is the publisher or the person who has created that content does not have access to the secondary sales, right? So if I create a book, or if I create a newsletter and someone else copies it and sends it across to their students or everybody, I don't get any revenue from the secondary sales from that system, right? So this is what's called in the art world the problem of second sale, meaning the first time it's sold, I get revenue. The second time it's sold, I get no revenue because it only goes to the person who's the middleman there, who's received the first sale. And NFT solves this and a bunch of other problems. But this is one problem that really struck me personally, right? Which is if I create a piece of content, and this will help content creators as well. If I create a piece of content, like an art form or a musical note or a video or a photograph or something like that, and I want to sell it to one person, and every time that one, and let's say I sell it to you, Shaurya, and if if Shaurya's friend realizes that, hey, I like this more, I'm willing to pay more than what Shaurya paid for it, they will buy it from you. I sell it to you for 100 rupees. That person buys it from you for 120 rupees. The second sale where he bought it from you for 120 rupees, I still get a cut from that, right? Which is a system of royalties that NFTs or NFT marketplaces allow. And every time it is sold, when the ownership changes from me to Shaurya to Shaurya's friend, it is recorded on the blockchain through a piece of code. So an NFT is ideally just a note on the blockchain, an entry on the blockchain. But if you put it through like a particular marketplace, you can see the art form, right? And it denotes that I have owned it, I have sold it to Shaurya, Shaurya sold it to someone else, and all of the royalties get accrued to me, right? Because I am the creator of it, right? And that is why NFTs are so important. It allows you to denote ownership, and more importantly denote transfer of ownership, and also denote proof of ownership to the creator, so that the creator actually gets some amount of revenue, right? And I'll share a resource to you, Shaurya, and you can share it with the team, of a very interesting podcast which really changed my mind about NFTs, right? So there's a digital artist called Beeple, Beeple, right? He's probably the most successful in terms of revenue generated from NFT sales digital artist in the history of NFTs. And I know the history of NFTs is too very, very small. He was, I think, a very like middle-aged digital artist who didn't earn a lot of money until 2021. And in 2021, he was still creating digital paintings. He had this painting called Everydays, right? Where he would every single day for I think 2 years or so, he created a piece of art form, and it went on as a collage, and it looked like a really grand piece of art, right? That sold for close to I think $69 million. Funny number, I know, but 69 million dollars, right? In I think early 2021, and that's when people started picking up NFTs as like this big emerging trend, and everybody sort of took it off, right? And he had a podcast with another very famous NFT guy, right? And he explained this whole problem within the art, like the art space, whether it's pictorial art or video or audio or any art that you write off as well, right? And he said that there's a big problem of ownership, and NFTs are solving this. It might be flashy, it might be a lot of price pumps and dumps. There are a lot of like bad NFTs in the space, but it's very clearly solving the problem of ownership, and that really changed my mind. I'll share it, and probably will change your mind, right? But
Yep.
NFTs have seen like three cycles, right? First was, I would say, like there was the first failure, second success, and third trial, right? NFT started as not this way of ownership, but as this way of competition, where one of the earliest project is called CryptoKitties, and you had to own a digital pet and had to feed it. It's like a life form. Nobody liked it, went up, went down, and eventually crashed. And the second success is probably when, this people thing happened, and then everybody started jumping into NFTs. Some went really high up, some went really high down, right? Now everything is down roughly 70-80% from what it was last year. Now we're seeing the third trial, meaning a lot of NFTs coming with actual utility, actual communities, actual use cases. They're doing really well. The ones who aren't doing really well, right? So it's becoming like, all the bad ones are getting thrown out. So there's a couple of cycles of NFTs. We're in the third probably cycle. At least this is the way I put it, and I might be wrong here, but this is how I see it here, right? And it's an interesting trend, and you should definitely check out that podcast or any other resources. We've written about NFTs as well, so if you want to check that out, check it out, and we can go forward. This is stablecoins. I think we've gone through stablecoins. What are stablecoins? Why do we need it? We just need a stable means of payment within the crypto world, right? That's not there with Bitcoin, Ethereum, because it's incredibly volatile. You don't want something that is 50,000 rupees in 1 year and 16,000 rupees in the other, right? It's useful, but it's not useful for payment. The cashier or the grocery shop owner or the dukan wala bhaiya will not want something that is going up and down that much. Right? They want stable return or stable payments. And there are various kinds of stable coins. I don't think that's important now, so I'm just going to slightly breeze past that. Yeah. So now these are the emerging trends within decentralized applications. And these are just four that come to mind. I've made a slight mistake here. It's not play to play, it's pay to play. So just apologies on that. So these are the four trends that I'm noticing. One is the metaverse, which again a lot of people talk about. Facebook has literally rebranded to a metaverse, and one very interesting take that I've heard on the metaverse is that it's people think that the metaverse is like a place where you go and there's a place where you are. You put on those AR VR goggles and you're in a different place, right? But it's not necessarily a place. It's a time. It's a time when we spend. Now we spend about 80% of our time online, right? So if I'm not physically present anywhere, whether it's at home or in the gym or traveling in a car, right? I am usually on my phone or on my laptop, and usually that laptop or phone is connected to the internet. So I'm online. I'm not here. I'm talking to someone on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and I'm looking at their content and they're in Bombay or in America or somewhere. Right? But now our time has severely changed from say 2010, where we were spending 20% of our time on the internet or online, right? Now we're spending a lot more of that online. And eventually we're going to come to a point where I can just, if I want to go to a coffee shop or if I want to go to any place, I would just put on AR VR goggles and I'm automatically there, right? I'm with my friend who's sitting across the table. I'm with like anybody else. I'm with a group of people. So it's a time where our online life has moved so much so that we are spending a lot more time, not just with our words and our videos and our audio online and in another place, but our entire being somewhere else, right? That's another interesting thread that details this, which again I will share with you. Gaming is where I think a lot of your interest lies, and gaming is seeing a severe shift. So I want to ask a question, Shaurya, and you can help me out with the answers here. Is what what are the games people remember when they were a child? Like, what's the game that they frequently played when they were a child? Anyone can put it in the comments.
Sure. So like some are saying the popular video game Mario, and others are saying like Angry Bird, and some are like Bubble Shooter.
Yeah, Angry Bird, Mario, these are great games, right? I think I haven't played the third game, but I will check it out. So you can drop me a text on that. I'll play it. But yeah, we should play the same games, right? So they were games like, I don't know, Pokemon, Need for Speed, Dragon Ball Z. They were all free to play. And you download it, you play, right? Some games were absolutely free, like you didn't have to pay for a CD. You could just go to a website and play. And those were the simple, easy games, right? They were at an arcade or something like that, or pinball, right, which was on everybody's laptop or computer when we were kids. So they were free to play. Then there was pay to play. I misspelled it from pay to play to play to play. But you have to buy a CD, you have to buy a subscription, you have to buy something. So you have to give the game money in order to or give the game developer money in order to get a CD that I can play in isolation. Meaning it's not connected to the internet. I can't play with you, Shaurya. I can't play with anybody else. Then it changed to probably pay to play plus online, right? Again, this small difference, you can play Call of Duty online, FIFA online, something online, right? Then it became play to earn, right? Where you can actually play and earn money, right? Because you're creating an ecosystem, you're creating a network where a lot more people play, and the developers hope that, hey, I'm going to reward people for coming into the ecosystem, but a lot more people are going to play here. This is the same model that a lot of like apps have, where you join and they give you like 100 rupees free or something, one order free or 30% off or something like that, right? But this is a more crypto oriented model. So instead of giving you rupees off, they give you crypto for free, right? And I can share a simple, let me just show you one um, example of this game. Let me know if my screen is still visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So this is a game called Flappy Musk. It's a fun game, and it's made by a friend of ours. We've spoken about this on the newsletter as well. It's a play to earn game built on the Polygon blockchain, which you can either play for free and not earn anything, or play and connect your self custodial wallet and earn some Matic. Matic is a cryptocurrency that is on the Polygon blockchain, right? It's used on the Polygon blockchain. So I can play this game for free, and if I connect my wallet, I can potentially even earn some Matic token. So I'll just show you how the game works. It's funny. It has Elon Musk's face on a Twitter bird, and I just go and catch joints. Yeah. And if I hit those bars, if I hit those candlesticks, I die. And I get 3 tries, and then my high score is recorded, and I earn some money on IDO. I have not connected my wallet in this, but I can potentially, right? So this is the play to earn model here. It's a play to earn game. You can see it here. Um, great game, like a fun game. It's not like heavy strategy like Age of Empires or something like that, but it's fun. Like you can, sitting in an auto, you take it out and you just play it and probably earn some crypto, right? But the premise is the same. You play and you earn. Now there's a new kind of game or type of game going on, which is play to own, right? So imagine you played like, let's see, Age of Empires. I love playing Age of Empires when I was a kid. Shaurya, have you played it?
No.
No? Have you played Pokemon?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's use the example of Pokemon, right? So in Pokemon, you go through several like gyms, and you increase your Pokemon's levels to a point where they're level like 90 and 100 and all of that, and you've won the game, but you have a great team and you want to show off that team. I have a team of like all great Pokemons. They're level 100. They have so many great moves. I can literally beat anybody, right? I have worked hard to get those Pokemon to that level, and but I don't own it. Like tomorrow, if I lose the CD, or if Nintendo, which is the game developer, says that, hey, you don't own these anymore, we're going to remove you, then all my hard work of taking all these, like Pikachu level 100, Charizard level 100, Blastoise level 100, it's all gone, right? I don't own them, and I'm not earning with them. So there's a model called play to own, where you take a Pokemon or some sort of game character, you increase their levels, you give them more features, more skins, more abilities, more powers. They become stronger and better, but you own it, and you can even sell these. Imagine if I can sell a level 100 Charizard with a blue skin and a cap and a bunch of other things, right? Like unique, very, very unique. It's all done to increase uniqueness. And I can sell it for like $1,000, which is like 80,000 rupees. That's great. I have worked hard to build it. I have given it the features. I can own it. I can sell it, right? That is what play to earn games allow you to do. There are several games that do this. I think last year the big example was this game called Axie Infinity, but there are several more this year as well, right? Companies and socials are a smaller topic. Companies are, how decentralized autonomous organizations will organize companies in the future, where companies will be community owned and incentivized through a native token, etc., which is a slightly deeper topic that we can take on another day. And social is, I think, where the next frontier is. Meaning, every big app on your phone, if you go to the App Store, see top apps, 3 out of 5 will probably be social apps, right? Like WhatsApp is probably the biggest one. Then it'll probably be Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, right? So those will be the most popular apps. And social apps on the decentralized blockchain are very, very small. Larger ones are sort of finance, where people are incentivized. social is smaller, and we'll see a huge growth of that in the next 10 years, and hopefully we'll have another session to talk about it. But I think that's all we have now. And if anybody is new to crypto, these are probably the action items that I would suggest. I'm not going to recommend anything, not recommending any exchange or a crypto or a wallet or anything, because I would prefer if someone does their own research. I can tell them what to do, right? So simply open an account with a crypto exchange, any exchange you want. I don't really care, right? Buy some crypto, whatever crypto you want, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, anything you want. That's up to you, right? Send it to any self-custodial wallets. Note your keys, keep it with you, don't tell anybody else. Sign a transaction, use any decentralized application. The easiest ones to use are decentralized finance applications. But if you want to use NFTs or metaverses, go for it, right? And the last thing is that this is where the content creation part comes in. Is write about your experience. Write about, hey, I used this. It was a very shit experience. Then the people who made it will see it and be like, oh, how can they improve, right? Or I used it and it's a fun experience. So write about these things, or create a video, or create a podcast, anything. But write it in a very genuine way and a way for you to help people to learn. Right? These are a few resources that I look at. I've not put my own, but if you like it, you can check out Dudwala as well. But these are great resources that they're all free. There are premium versions, but their base version is free. So Masari Crypto is a data analytics platform. They give you a good amount of data, good breakdowns. Bankless is like a suite of content products. So they have a podcast, they have a newsletter, they have Instagram is really well done. So check it out. The Milk Road is my favorite. They give you daily news in a funny way, and these are the podcasts that you can check out as well. And if you like it, you can probably like scan this code. It will take you to the Dudwala Daily newsletter, or you can just go to www.dudwala.xyz. Please make sure you put the www because we're having some domain issues. But yeah, you can subscribe, and we'll send you an email for free. 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week, and we'll just explain one piece of news, one piece of analysis in a very simple, easily understandable, and fun way. And this is where newsletters are incredibly important. So, right there, if you are looking to start a newsletter, 3 platforms that I recommend: Substack, Beehive. It's spelled Beehiiv, Beehive, and Mailchimp. These are really good platforms. All of them have a free model as well as a premium model. They allow you to connect a domain, set everything up. Like for example, the Dudwala domain is immediately connected here. Right? If this loads, yeah. So it's just connected here, and I can go and read any article, or I can go and publish any article. Right? So you can go to any of these. I prefer to use Beehive. This is deployed on Beehive for several reasons, because it's easier for me specifically, but you can go to any other platform that you'd like and write an article. It allows you to integrate Twitter, allows you to integrate YouTube videos, bunch of things, and you can immediately go in and easily write about it. And I would suggest to do this in your way, whatever way you like. If you want to write in a fun way, do it. If you want to write in a serious way, do it. Whatever way you like to write about it, go for it. Right? So this is all the sort of stuff I had. If there's any other questions that you have, or if you want me to sort of specifically go down the newsletter route, happy to do that.
Yep. Like we have 4 questions. Sorry, 3 questions. First is related to your startup, your company. How does sending news mails make money for you?
Good question. Very good question. We get that a lot, right? So now, there's a long answer to this. I hope you don't mind. So we're a media company, right? We give information. We give free information to people. How do we make money? We right now are capturing attention of people, right? Any media company does one thing at the start, it captures attention. And our goal is to capture as much attention by giving free information, free value, right? As a creator or anybody who's in this space, we use the Gary Vee approach. The Gary Vee approach is jab, 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 right hand, right? So that's a boxing analogy where you jab 3 times and then give them a right hand. And a right hand is your more powerful hand if you're a righty, and similarly a left hand if you're a lefty. The point is give, and then take. So we are in the process of giving free value, right? Our goal is to give free value, build trust, because we're not going to promote like scams. We're not going to promote shady products. We're not going to give you like random, let's say, Flipkart advertisement or something like that. We're going to just give you news and information every day directly to your inbox. You don't have to come to our website. You just have to open your inbox at 10 a.m. and you'll get it. Then we can probably partner up with a company that is legitimate, that we've done due diligence on, and promote their product. That's one way to go to market, right? The other way to go to market is then establish so much trust within your audience that you can tell them that, hey, we've been writing this for say 6 months. We are now going to launch a premium newsletter that gives you extra information. Now, free information is always free. We will give you extra information. We will do much deeper analysis. We will do an interview with a founder because we've had all of these contacts. We'll do like long form articles where we talk only about NFTs or only about one NFT. We'll do their complete deep dive, and we charge people to read it. Right? Economic Times has this thing called ET Prime. Right? Money Control has Money Control Pro. I think Live Mint also has a premium version. And in America, New York Times has a subscription. Wall Street Journal has a subscription. So you can adopt the premium model. The third thing you can do is launch a product, right? So when people launch a product, they do it this way. They launch a product, then they create distribution, right? They want to distribute it to a certain kind of audience, but they don't know who to distribute it to. So they create a product, then they build distribution. We are doing it the opposite way, where we already have distribution set. We have a huge number of subscribers following on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube now. Low, but it's going up, right? But now when we have this distribution, we can create a product, whatever product we think of in the crypto world, in other world, and then already distribute it to them. Because we have trust, because we have distribution, because we have emails, it's easy for us to sell. So I think that's a long answer, but that's the 3 ways to do it.
Yep. So the another question we have is, should crypto be centralized according to you?
Sorry, say that again.
Should crypto be centralized according to you?
No, I don't think it should be. It is created on the premise of decentrality. The most popular crypto, 40% of the market, Bitcoin, is decentralized to a point where nobody can control it, fix it, manipulate it in any way, right? So Bitcoin is decentralized. Ethereum as a blockchain is sufficiently decentralized, right? Every other coin is either decentralized in principle or in name. They might not be, but it doesn't really matter because the two main ones are. And if everybody else loses trust in these two, they don't lose trust in. And everything at the end of the day is a trust game, right? I trust the government to remain stable, therefore I will use rupees. I trust Bitcoin to remain decentralized, therefore I will use it, right? So to answer your question,
No. Will people lose trust from crypto because FTX is going down?
yes, they will. They already have. So I'll give you an example, right? So when FTX went down, the outflow of coins on centralized exchanges went up, meaning people were removing coins from the exchange. And not a small amount, a huge amount, right? Let me see if I can actually pull this data for the past 30 days, because I think we are 30 days since the FTX debacle happened.
Yep.
Just give me a minute, probably answer your question a little bit more. But to answer your question, yes, people will lose trust in these exchanges, but the trust in decentralized exchanges will, on the other hand, go up, right? So that is not a problem. I'm trying to get that. Let me just share my screen. So this shows exchange flow, meaning this is a website called Nansen.ai. It has again free and a premium model as well. So you can look at outflow for, okay, it just looks at 7 days, not 30 days, but you can look at the outflow, right? So let's just, yeah. So Coinbase, which is an exchange in the US and several other parts, publicly listed, they have an outflow of $8.6 billion in 7 days, right? And this is almost a month after FTX. Binance, which is I think the largest in the world, 5.7 billion. And all of these have had a net flow. That means more outflows than inflows, negative net flows, right? So from Coinbase, for example, $1.8 billion was removed from Binance. $250 million, from Kraken, which is another large exchange, $90 billion, and several exchanges there, right? So to answer your question, people are losing trust in centralized exchanges. But on the other hand, decentralized exchanges have seen a high amount of volume. They don't hold anything, so there's no flow in and flow out, but there's a lot of volume, meaning people are going there, trading, and going out.
Got. One question which we just like it hit a box right now. How do you get email of people for your newsletters? I'm a digital marketer, want to know about your strategy.
Oh, good question. Okay, how do I acquire the emails? Is that the question?
Yep, it is.
Yeah. Okay, so our split is organic, socials, and offline, right? Let me just break that down a little bit more. Organic is, of course, when someone searches for Dudhwala crypto, finds it, subscribes. That is the organic flow, which is the best kind of flow, right? Offline is when I go for an offline meetup or a conference or something like that. I have a call with you guys and I tell them that, hey, I write this thing called Dudhwala, I give you free value and I can give you, and here's the QR code, scan it and you'll get on. That is offline. I mean, it's technically online, but I'm talking to you, right? You're not seeing this somewhere else, right? I'm talking to the author of it. The third is social media. And in the socials, I'll give you a further split. I think Twitter is the main resource. Second is LinkedIn. And everything else is just like 5% in social media. So Twitter will probably be 65 to 70%. LinkedIn is probably 30%. And the rest is just a small amount is Instagram, YouTube, and everything else, right? So and that is because crypto is popular on Twitter and LinkedIn. But if you're a digital marketer at a fashion brand, for example, Instagram is going to be high for you. If you're a digital marketer for real estate advisory services, right, and LinkedIn will be high for you. If you provide like courses, YouTube will be high for you, right? So it depends on what you are. Crypto specific. So understand your audience, find out which social platform they live on, distribute on that social platform, go for offline meetups, and just do SEO really well. That's the long answer.
Got it. So like we don't have any other new question. Thank you. Thank you very much for the amazing event, for the amazing knowledge which you just shared with our community. In fact, I learned a lot about crypto and the newsletters. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
And people, please subscribe to Dudhwala. He's doing a great job. And yep, it is a really good startup. Please support it, and definitely you will learn more about cryptos, and you will get slowly and slowly you will get habitual to it, and it will just like increase your knowledge, and it is good for you.
Can you share this link in the Discord chat? Let me just give you another link. Actually, don't use that. This is a better link. This is a more specific link. I don't want to waste the time of your viewers to get them to go twice. So just send the second link.
Done. So like I have shared the link, and this video is recorded. Like we are recording this meet, and we'll put it on YouTube, and in the description box we'll put this that link also.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you for like giving huge knowledge to our community. It is really, the session was amazing. Thank you very much. And people, hope you learned something, hope you learned something new, and you found this like session very good to you. And let's catch up in the next event, next weekend most probably. Until then, keep learning, keep enjoying.